Yeah, I'm Jackson. I have zero experience with carpentry.
I studied at a school for historic preservation in Boston and learned about how things were built, 250 years ago.
There's a long way to go. I'm nowhere near the top. Not that I thought I was, but there's so much more to do out there.
Welcome back to the Passion for Craft podcast. Today we are talking about Hollywood. Do you want to explain a little bit better? Richard, this was your brainchild, I think.
Yeah, well, I had a customer a while back who she was building her dream house, her forever home. And she said, I want this house to look like the father of the bride house. So
Nice.
I'm not a big movie guy. So I was like, well, let me look at this thing. So I went and
How many
looked at
movies have you ever watched in your life?
I probably like 20.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not into movies and TV.
Wait,
at all.
really?
Yeah, not at all.
Wow.
And when you guys start talking hockey and golf, I'm just like, oh, goodness. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I don't know what you are talking about.
Wait,
But
What's your favorite movie?
Don't
Don't say like E.T. or something. 25 years ago.
That's a hard question. I don't even know.
Well, you got 1 in 20 odds. You can.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm trying to sit there and think. I mostly just watch YouTube.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll
have to as we go through this episode, if it
be
comes
thinking
to
about
me,
your new ones.
Yeah, I'll think of it.
Wait, have you seen the Star Wars trilogy?
I'm not into anything that can't happen in real life.
Well, no wonder you don't watch movies.
Yeah, not a big fan of suspension of disbelief.
No superhero movies. You never see in the
Nothing,
Marvel
no.
movies.
I just kind of tuned out. I remember looking and being in class, and the teacher would be like, "All right, it's movie day," and staring out the window. I remember just being, "This is so stupid." Everyone's happy. It's just always been a thing.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. So she says, I want the house to look like the father of the bride.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then, I wasn't building the house or anything. I'm not a builder.
Mm-hmm.
But she, that was her inspiration. She was sharing that with me.
For sure.
So then I went and looked at that house. And I'm like, wow, she did a pretty good job of making it look like that. But it just sparked a thought that people are inspired by what they see in media.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that, learning about architecture and the inspiration behind, what people are shown in Hollywood is that Hollywood is not going to show you a cookie cutter community. They're not going to appeal. It's just, they're going to use beauty to appeal to you. And that's why, and then I gave another example of I was sitting in a restaurant eating food and I saw TV with a Porsche commercial that came on, and it was this Porsche zipping through the mountains some other country, and he pulls up to this amazing Tudor style house. He's not going to pull up to Plano McMansions. Why is that? Well, because they know that properly done architecture is beautiful and appealing. They don't want to associate their product with cookie cutter type houses.
And
so
by
that was
cookie
my
cutter,
thought.
you mean the production build?
The Cat in the Hat.
They have, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's true. I remember you used to use the same thing with, I think it was Evergreen Mortgages or something. There was right before the crash in 2007, 2008. Thought the same thing. They always picked these charming houses to talk about, come get your house mortgage. But most people were buying, ugly houses, and the houses are ugly today. And so you don't use those in your advertising, to your point, because they're ugly.
Mm-hmm. And you don't use them in your movie. One of the major plot points in Father of the Bride 2 is Steve Martin's character is going through a midlife crisis, and he sells his house. And it's the whole family is upset that he sold this home. And obviously, if they had a house that was the Cat in the Hat house, that's just there's 15 down the street. Yeah, the whole family would have been great, what's our new home? All right, how much money do we get? But because he has sold the beautiful
that house is the idyllic. If you're going to think what is a house, that's it, right?
Is that how you say that word?
Idyllic?
Yeah, that's a word. Well, you look at it and you think
that was idyllic.
Oh, did he say it wrong?
Maybe. Get in the comments. Tell us. Idyllic or idyllic?
Well, you look at that house and like when I see that, I see family. I see like a charming place, just very inviting.
Yeah.
The landscape is beautiful. It's like, it's just amazing. I just see family.
It's the classic white picket fence.
Yeah.
American dream
look,
home.
there's a white picket fence.
Yeah.
The
Quite literally. I wonder if that was intentional.
that is the 1920s. Okay, colonial revival house.
Nerd alert. No, tell us more. Tell us more. Show us how cool you were in high
Tell us
school.
more, Norm.
Whenever you, while you're talking about that, I'm going to think of what movie that is my favorite.
Yeah, your favorite movie.
Yeah, I'm going to tune out.
Just tune out really quick.
Okay.
Wait,
Gloves are off. Okay. I get it.
So 1920s.
Oh, don't act like you care.
Well, I'm trying to learn. Colonial.
As Brent rolls his eyes.
Shot in the dark. Shot in the dark.
Those are Queen Anne sash. Okay, that means that you've got a divide light upper and a single light lower. Shutters that actually would
What are you
function
talking
and
about?
work.
Divide light lower.
Divided light upper, 6 light over 1 light.
What are we talking about?
The windows.
Oh.
talking
Sorry,
about
I'm like, there's no lights on this
Dork
house.
alert. Idiot alert. My gosh.
Steal my
Yes,
joke
that's
alert.
the Queen Anne
You're
sash.
looking for real lights.
I was looking for lights. I was like, what does he mean? There's no lights on this house.
LEDs.
Okay, so 6. I see now. So there's 6 on the top,
and
divided light at the top.
That is an arch pediment. It's really pretty. Mm-hmm. And good proportions, good scale. It's a good house. As
Right.
opposed to, so you guys know about the backlot. Since you don't watch movies, there's this. So Hollywood grows up in the 30s and 40s, and as they,
Since you don't watch movies.
So
like a little jab.
So, Orange County, right? It's called Orange County because it used to grow orange trees, right? It was
like
all
an
these,
orchard.
there's all these orchards and stuff like that, and that all went away. And so, land in Hollywood used to be very cheap, and so these studios
That's
had
crazy.
extra.
Is that for real?
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
crazy sentence.
These
right?
That is a crazy sentence. Because in today, LA is like most expensive place in the world.
Yes, and so
Second
they
in New
had back lots, and so back lots was excess land that they built fake houses and fake streets on. Leave It to Beaver is a very famous one, and so
Wait, so who? I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Backlots to what? I guess is the question that I have.
if you know that Warner Brothers, if you go in all those studios, right?
Oh,
and
like the warehouse studios.
Yeah, and where those warehouses, those are all sets.
Yeah.
and so they build inside those things. Well, behind that,
In the
back
back
lots,
lot,
the
yeah.
back lots.
Okay, I'm tracking.
They actually would build these faux houses. Like, no, you couldn't go in them. They're blank shells.
Oh.
There's nothing there, and so it's basically a facade. And so you have people walking down the street, and then they would go in the door, and then all of a sudden you'd be inside the house, but you'd actually be in a set.
So
But
this is all
they
for
built the
exterior
whole
shots.
exterior.
Yeah, the streets, the winding streets, all of that stuff. Now, what's interesting is that if you like the Leave It to Beaver house, which is kind of like a, something ranchy kind of thing, 2-story ranch kind of colonial revival, that's up the street. And then around the corner is the Second Empire Victorian one, which is
Weird.
And so the thing that happens though, okay, with these houses is that they're really an odd mix of styles. Like that house, there's no way that house exists anywhere.
Yeah, it looks like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, because you've got on the right side, you got a Second Empire tower, and on the left side, you got a really weird gambrel roof. Really weird. And you've got these Gothic arches on the front porch. And it's just,
Yeah, that is weird.
it's a weird house. And yet you look at it and you're like, okay. And what they did was on Leave It to Beaver, there they are walking down the street. It's a charming little house. But look at what they put, the picket fence. They put that Victorian wire fence.
Yeah.
And then the house is being grown over. And so it's a scary house when the Munsters had it because they were Munsters. And so
what's the Munsters?
wow.
I actually know that one.
Okay. I was born after the world turned into color, so that's
So yeah, this is probably Leave It to Beaver and their late 50s, early 60s sitcoms. And
I know Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah,
I just never heard of
the Munsters were, there was the Addams Family, which was one, and then there was the Munsters.
Oh, that's who I was thinking of. Like that Gothic family.
Yeah, the Gothic family.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a different family.
Yeah.
That's the Addams.
That's the Munsters.
What?
That is the Munsters.
Okay, then I did.
With Fred.
I knew who it was.
And Uncle Albert and the hot daughter and the Dracula's son.
Which one of these is supposed to be hot?
The girl's cute.
The left one?
Yeah, Jackson. She's cute. No, the blonde.
No, I'm kidding.
So that's the Munsters, and so they were this quirky family, and Herman Munster was this kind of goofy guy that kept getting the family into trouble.
And they were monsters. So
the Munsters. So where were we going? Did we have a point?
So we were talking backlots. We were talking.
Oh, okay.
More backlots.
Look at the house on the left.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's like that Munsters house. You've got a rock wall, a mortarless rock wall, a dry stack rock wall on the right.
Okay.
Then you've got a porch with a birdhouse over the porch, vertical board and batten siding.
Yeah, it's interesting they opted to go for the birdhouse feature instead of a window.
And then, but it comes out as a gable end, and it's a gambrel roof, right, that you can't see. And then look at over the far left side. We're back to this weird. I mean,
rock.
that is a bunch of different weird things all glued together. And you don't really notice it because there's a fence in the yard, it's grass, and it kind of looks charming.
It's like everything else pulls that together.
When you break it down, you're like, that is the weirdest freaking house I've ever seen.
It's almost like the color scheme and the roof are holding that house together.
Yeah, that's actually true.
And then everything else is like, if you look at it as an individual, it's like it's like one of those pictures where if you look at it from really far, it all looks super normal, and then you start looking at little features of it, and you're like, "What is going on?"
It's like they and on the house on the right. Okay, there's some Victorian elements to that, and yet it's also this weird little pedimented gable thing with a weird roof going across, and it's like an arts and crafts porch on the left side. It's like a Victorian porch in the middle and a Victorian balustrade. And then, like, looking at a dormer with two windows on the left.
It's like, why are the columns not
round dormer on the right?
Right.
I mean, it's weird.
And these are real houses.
No, this is Wisteria Lane. Same thing with these two houses.
So they made another set of backlots,
they're
basically.
almost McMansions. Okay, especially that one on the left with that huge, ugly, broken pediment.
Will you define McMansion really quick?
A real mansion is a large, impressive house.
Yeah.
That's the actual definition.
Yeah.
A McMansion is like a McDonald'sification of that.
It's all so you have production houses, and you have cookie cutter production houses where they do the same house over and over again. 20 years later, after 1950, going into the 70s and into the 80s, those production builders who used to build production houses looked around and looked at the market and go, gosh, I could build $1 million house because there's more margins there and make a lot of money. And so they took the skills that they had learned doing production building and applied it to a bigger house. And you have these huge houses that look like mansions, but they all look the same. Mm-hmm. And so they were referred to as starter castles or McMansions. And so they're kind of big, gaudy, ugly, ill-designed houses. I mean, they're just, what do you want to be?
Oh, okay.
I want to be everything.
Wait, go back to that. There's a question I have on this. Why do there's this house that's being built really near where I work, and it has like all A-frame roof lines.
Yeah.
And then it has one like swoop, like a circular swoop like that. Why would you do that?
That's like a Tudor inspired thing.
If you go to France and England, and you go to the countryside, they would often have these what's called a cat's back or this swoop, where the roofs almost because they're thatched and everything else, they'd almost come right down to the ground.
Yeah.
And they were they ended up being, as the American architects saw that and applied it to American construction, building English cottages and French cottages, they copied that swoop, and it became almost a cliche.
Yeah.
But that's something like this house has one over there on the right.
Right.
And this house can't decide whether it wants to be a castle or a cottage.
Right.
And so, and
there's a parapet.
And so it's just kind of a mess. But that's where that swoop comes from.
You would think like
It's
castle
such a
and
weird
cottage
feature.
wouldn't be your struggle.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I want. I don't know. What are we thinking? Castle or cottage? It's like
We go like
we're at the
really-
opposite ends of this freaking spectrum.
yeah, opposite ends of the feudal spectrum there. Got the lords and the serfs.
Maybe it's
But that house
non-binary or
on the left is also way goofy. Look, you got those. You look at just the symmetry up the front. You've got the single door, then there's gross pediment, broken pediment, then a double window, not a single one, a double one, and you got 4 casements above that. It's like, it's just weird.
It's like multiplying each time.
And if you built that today, no one would buy that house. And yet, because of the trees or whatever, and because of the setting, it looks like the glance at it, oh yeah, there's a house.
Yeah.
Right? And it's kind of charming, right?
Landscaping
Then when you look at it, you're like,
It's like you have to zoom in on these things.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. It's like those pictures. You know the pictures I'm talking about? It's like a Where's Waldo painting almost. you know?
I
Where
think
you're
I think it's like that house we just looked at.
Yeah.
You glance at it and goes, oh, that's kind of impressive.
Right.
But then you start looking at it and you go,
Wait
what
a
in the
minute.
world is
Right.
going on?
On a side note, we were driving around and I was telling, we were looking at houses.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife, I'm like, oh look at that broken pediment. She's like, oh no. She thought it was like a broken pediment, but I mean it made sense. I was like, no, it's like a style where it doesn't meet it in the middle.
That's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
See,
Oh, no.
And I was
these
just like,
woman into the back.
Do you say you sound like Jackson? No, nothing.
So these are Italianate Victorian houses in San Francisco. Facts of life? No.
A full house.
Full house. Thank you. And they are charming houses. This is a backdrop though, because if you go inside and look at the set that was part of it, like that house on the right is the set, and
the house on the left is the actual
house.
Wow.
And
It
makes
changed the
sense
vibe
because,
of Full House.
because that, if you think about where the windows and doors are, it doesn't make sense where they're at in that.
oh, no one
I
ever
never
thinks
thought about that.
Yeah.
I
It's like,
never
why
thought
would there
about
that window isn't up there on the wall like that?
Weird.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, yeah, here we go. Brady Bunch, baby. This is great. This is like my childhood.
This is the same thing. If you think about where this front door is, there's a stair that goes up to the right. Right? That's a single-story
Yeah.
house on the right.
On the right, yeah. And then the second story is actually
The
on the left.
second story is actually on the left.
And then if you also think about it, their garage is on the left, but it does not look like they have a driveway that leads back into a garage. Because I feel like you always see their like little thing parked in the front, their car, their what was it, station wagon?
Yeah.
Parked in the front, but you don't ever. It always is parked in the back whenever a character enters.
Did you
Brady
grow up
Bunch.
with station wagons?
I've
The wood panel, whatever.
I was in the era where I've seen them.
You've seen them in the movies?
No, I've seen some in real life.
No, I'm in that era.
That's the funniest thing, those station wagons, that they used to sit in the back. Like you used to, your parents are driving up front. You were stuck in the back in these bucket seats, and you're staring out the back.
Oh,
Have
yeah,
you
yeah,
seen
yeah.
that? Yes, you're facing
Oh,
the
no,
other
I
way.
didn't know that.
Yeah, but one of my friends used to have one of those.
Yeah, and
I
so
remember
you'd
it
have
was
your
weird.
key, and you'd put the key in, the glass would come down, and then the door would open. Yeah, there it is. And that's you sitting in the back, and it was the weirdest
crazy.
thing. And see those metal bars there? That's carpet in between on the left. Those metal bars used to get hot, and your skin when you had a bathing suit, and your skin would touch that, and it would just burn the crap out of it.
Is it because it would get hot because the wheel well's right next to it?
I don't know. I think because the sun might be going on to it.
yeah,
But that's actually even older than the ones I was growing up in. But they were. But there was.
I didn't grow up in one's that old. But.
but there was ones where you had front seat, back seat, another row of seat, and then the back seat, and
Rocking 9 in a car?
That's
man,
like the
it was
modern
crazy.
day or the
The
past
like
Sprinter.
sick minivans?
And when we were growing up, those seats would all fold down and be a big flat area. My dad would put a mattress on it. We'd drive to Canada and just laying out this mattress. No seat belts, no nothing. Just
It's a dream.
just hanging.
That's awesome.
That would be so fun.
Speaking of cars, So those backdrop lots were thought to be so evocative of a time and a place that a lot of car companies use those things as backdrops for their pictures of their cars because, hey, we're driving up to a house, we'll use the back lots.
Wait, am I wrong? Like, I think these actually look like really good ads. I think it's like the Porsche thing that you were talking about, Richard, like where it's like they evoke something, like the Broncos over there. I don't know if is that a Bronco, top left?
I think it's a
Dodge something.
Dodge's version of it.
Yeah, well, or the Ram Charger. It says a wagon with tough truck performance. But that one, it's out in front of a saloon, which makes sense, right? Like they're kind of evoking. I guess it's kind of like you'd expect a horse and buggy out in front of a saloon, but still, it kind of gets
talking yourself out of this.
Yeah, I'm talking myself out of that one. But then I like this one in the bottom middle, Columbia Ranch. That one in front of the nice gated house. I feel like that matches. Kind of like an old money vibe.
So those are all Columbia Ranch means that they were on the ranch at Columbia's back lot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So bad.
No, it is what it is.
It is. It just is.
Seaside. We've talked about Seaside before.
Come on.
That is idyllic, right? And that's why it was the set for the Truman Show.
Idyllic.
You keep saying this word.
I want to get a Google pronunciation.
I don't think it means.
I want someone in the comments to look it up on Google. Idyllic. IDYLLIC. Not you. Someone later. Right, someone better. I think you're biased. You're going to pull up the wrong one.
Okay, Google. How do you say idyllic?
What word? Press play. Press play on that video. It goes to an ad. Oh, baby!
Idyllic?
I was wrong.
What did I say?
Idyllic.
Idyllic?
Idyllic. Like idyllic.
I'm going to continue to say it wrong only because it makes more sense to me.
It does make more sense your way.
Do it your way.
Ideal.
I
guess this is an ideal place to live. How does it go? How does it go to dill now?
Idyllic. I don't know.
It's spelled IDYL. Idyllic. Okay. It's spelled like he's pronouncing it, but I think that's wrong.
Well, it's not like we just
Google
had 3
is
sources.
Wrong.
Anyway, so at Seaside, the idyllic community is awesome. Obviously used in the Truman Show to actually paint Truman as kind of like a little crazy for wanting to leave this incredible community. This like, I don't know,
he was conflicted, right?
Yeah.
He because
have you seen Truman Show?
I have, yeah. That was one of the 20. Yeah. Well, what's weird about that is like,
I can't believe that was one year 20.
Well, if you put yourself in Truman's position, it almost is like torture to be there because
What is the 3 movies he has to see?
One, this is a great question. 2, Truman Show can't actually happen. I thought you were a fan of movies that actually can happen.
Well, I'm a fan of movies that could actually happen. Well, could it not?
I don't know. That'd be hard. I guess it's possible. That's possible.
I wasn't dogmatic about when I watched movies. I just didn't like Star Wars.
I understand. But okay, 3 movies you have to see. Princess Bride, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
best
a great movie.
Story out there. It's got everything.
That can't happen though.
Can't happen, but it's good.
Well, tell me something that can happen.
Moneyball or The Big Short. One of those 2. Pick one. Don't you think those are good?
Yeah.
Moneyball and The Big Short.
You know what I got into?
They're both real movies. Like
it's gonna sound weird because I just said I don't like things that can't happen. Twilight Zone.
Oh, wait, that is all things that can't happen.
Yeah, I just contradicted myself pretty hard.
That's okay.
But in the Twilight Zone, there's this episode about this guy who's like a burglar and like cops are chasing him.
Yeah.
And apparently he gets shot and like wakes up in heaven.
Yeah.
But it's actually hell to him because everything keeps going his way that he wants it to. Like he shoots a pool and like makes all of them and like. He's like, this is torture. That's kind of how I feel about Truman Show.
He's facing no adversity.
Yeah.
So I get that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, is crazy.
Oh, did you ever watch The Sixth Sense?
No.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That is crazy. No one spoil it.
Yeah, that and like some of M. Night Shyamalan's
That's how you pronounce
Breakable. Yeah, those are some good movies.
Yeah. M. Knight Shyamalan.
What'd you call me?
No, that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, he's really good. I would say if you're wanting real movies, that Moneyball or Big Short are like very feasible and really well done. If you're wanting like crazy movies, my top 3 movies.
I just thought of my favorite movie.
Oh, what is
but
it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What is it?
It's A Wonderful Life.
Oh, that's a great one.
That's one of my favorites.
That's a great one.
That's a great.
That's
movie.
his favorite movie of all time.
Really?
I watch that every year. I cry every year.
Like a baby.
And it is just the greatest ever.
It's so
And
awesome.
the more you watch it, the more you see pieces fall into place.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And it's...
I used to hate that movie. I go in and out on that movie because we watch it every year. But it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Princess Bride's my number 1. Shortly followed by About Time, which is about time travel, but not in the way you think.
That's a good movie.
It's a good movie. And then the third one I forgot, so there you go.
So Princess Bride, that's like an all-time classic. Family, feel good. I mean, there's adventure.
No great architecture in it, though.
No great
Princess Bride.
The castle.
Well, it's painted, right? It's like a set piece.
Oh yeah, there's no good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, there's no.
But no, we got to.
I think he's about to pull it up, maybe.
But oh yeah, there it is. See, it's like a set piece kind of. It kind of looks like the one from Monty Python. Yeah. But it's really good. It has literally everything.
Those soldiers kind of look. Are those statues?
It's a good question. No, they're
They
practical.
remind me of in the Greek temple how they had like the figures.
Oh yeah.
They all have different arm angles, so you can tell that they're real people.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
Have
it's a
you seen
good
that
one.
movie, Austin? Thumbs up.
I mean, it reminds me of being a kid. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
It still holds up. It's really funny. Anyway, okay, back to architecture, back to Hollywood. Richard, you've got your homework now. But Seaside, really cool because it is the perfect place. Yeah,
And it's not a set.
I think if
Right?
I was Truman, no, it's not a set.
Okay.
It was real.
real
It was
place.
all like they even use like the town hall and like all those other places
Grocery
like where
store.
he worked. They're all legit. They're still there today. But if I was Truman Showed ever and they put me in Seaside, I wouldn't leave. I would just be like,
It's
But
Experiment
you
success.
would leave.
it's idyllic.
it's so cool.
But if everything was going
a
your
word,
way, that would
idyllic.
suck.
You're right. If everything was going my way, it wouldn't be great. But also at the same time, if I got to live here, whoo, it is just awesome.
It's ideal.
But yeah, I would not want to live in the Cat in the Hat universe. This one's crazy because it's absurdist, right? Like it's taking the idea of what we're trying to do or like what we're fighting against and what we just don't like about a lot of modern building today, and it is putting it like just right in front of your face. Whatever.
Look at the scale. Look at the scale of that. So you look at the house on the right. Okay. Walk in the front door.
Okay.
Right. How tall does that ceiling need to be in order for that you to stand on the second floor and see out those windows?
Do you know why? Do you know why I think they
weird.
did that?
why?
Do you think? Well, I might be dead wrong. But do you think they did it like that so that the little kids made sense? The thing 1 and thing 2 made sense? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're
I
getting
mean-
into movie world, but it's.
Yeah, I mean that's a 8-foot, 10-foot ceiling, and yet in the picture there it's like
a 16 foot.
14.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. That's really weird, but it's a set piece, so and it's
I mean,
absurdism.
it's not real.
Well, no, those trees are very real. Find those in West America. Yeah, no, I hate this, but also this is like exactly what we have in every like builder developmental community. It's just to a less
It's
extreme
like
version of it.
exaggerated.
Yeah, it's
This
an
is
exaggerated
like a
version of it.
hardcore
Same
exaggeration.
car, same house, same colors,
Right.
same trees, same sidewalk.
And like maybe not
Same
same
mailbox.
car, but like I mean if you take a look, I mean someone was explaining this. One of you two was explaining this to me, but they put so many curves in those roads of those
Oh, yeah, that was
developed
you.
communities to hide that. So like you're not seeing number 3 and number 4 that look like the copy
It's like,
of number
can
3
you
and
just
number
take
4.
that effort and energy and make another house?
Totally. Yeah, because you've got to curve the streets. Oh, there we go. That's Cat in the Hat right there. Living it out in real life. I mean, it's just so
That's
weird.
Levittown.
What is it?
Levittown.
Where is that?
So William Levitt, he built one in New Jersey and then Philadelphia and then
you were telling us about that.
Are those still around?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
I have been there. It doesn't look like this anymore because the trees have grown up, and so you kind of get there and you're like, "Am I here?"
Yeah.
And so what's happened is all those houses have been added onto. They've been, they've added a second story.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
You should do a video there.
And so they
That'd be cool.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah, it's because when they were originally built, they were 600 square foot houses. They're really small.
What?
You're like, today I'm over here.
Wait, 2 stories, 600 square foot?
Yeah, and that's why they were so
crazy. Tiny?
they're so cheap.
Yeah.
And the average size house in 1920 was 1,200 square feet. So the average size house today is 2,500 square feet. So and when he came out, one of the reasons they were so cheap is because they were small.
Oh my gosh, look at that tiny garage.
Most of them didn't even have garages. Oh, is that before and after?
Oh my gosh.
See how it's hard to tell that you've got the trees kind of really disguise thing in the landscaping?
It's crazy how much landscaping actually affects this.
It's a huge deal.
If you can't pay for a good architect, pay for a good landscaper.
Yeah.
Frank Lloyd Wright
so
once
true.
said that the best way to disguise ugly architecture is to grow a vine on it.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh, is that Leviton again? Whoa. Wow,
Yeah,
they
it just takes on a
did a
different
lot
feel.
to that house.
I don't think they did anything.
Wait,
to
can
that
you go
house.
back? Oh, no, it's just the bush grew so much. Wow, I literally was like, they did so much. They didn't do anything. That is weird. That really
weird?
blows my mind.
So
It's crazy how much
you
it
drive
changed.
up there and you're like, wait, where am I? Because you're used to seeing those houses with no trees and
like the early construction images.
and you can't see that. Anyway, the landscaping really makes it different.
Fair enough. Okay, this is from a great TV show that I was forced to watch. My best friend was like, all right, you get one show to pick and I'll watch it. And I picked a
Breaking
terrible
Bad?
show. And then he picked a show for me to watch, and Breaking Bad. I started watching it. I was like, it's pretty good. It's just hard to watch. It's dark at first, and it's like really gloomy, and it really, like, I don't know. It's not like a show that draws you in because it's poppy and like interesting or anything.
It is.
It's slow and it's bleak and it's intense. But that's exactly what this evokes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
and
exactly
so that
what this
car
is doing.
is depressing. The house is depressing.
Sorry if you have this car.
It's just
Sorry
like
if you
he has. The way they portray him. What's his name?
Walter White.
He's a school teacher. He's a science teacher. He's really smart,
Chemistry
but
teacher.
no one appreciates him. And his wife and
Spoiler alert,
his kids don't
he
appreciate
gets
him.
cancer.
And very early in the series,
Very big
and
spoiler.
So he is just the cancer piece just pushes him over the edge, and he goes down this path.
What does he do?
What's that?
What does he do? He starts cooking meth.
He starts
Crazy.
cooking meth,
With one of his old students, Jesse Pinkman.
and so it's a really the whole setup right there. That whole thing is you're like, what? And the things that they get into, and
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Some of the people that they like get really high up in the mafia or the drug cartel.
world.
That's the word for it. And I mean, it's really cool. It's well done. And this guy Saul Goodman comes into play. He's got his own spinoff show.
But I mean, the point here is the depressing. He has his law office in a strip mall, and so these people come in, and he's just selling a bill of goods. And
Yeah.
so
It is interesting, and it's kind of funny. Like this evokes one thing entirely, right? This evokes like the bleakness, Nevada, yada yada. And if we look at like another law show, which in essence, like Better Call Saul is kind of a law show. It's not really. It's more like a drug show. But Suits is another law show, and like the Suits.
I know Suits.
Yeah, their law.
You're a Meghan
office-
Markle fan, aren't you?
No, I like Harvey Specter.
Yeah,
that guy's awesome.
I liked Harvey Specter, too.
But I can't remember her name in the show. Megan, I was like, very cool. But I liked when Mike was dating that blonde girl.
Now, why are you bringing up that show?
Oh, because it's the thing that they're like
high-rise.
Evoking, right, are different. So like we're talking about what
lawyer.
Yeah, he's a high-priced lawyer. They're in a law firm that only hires from Harvard grads and all sorts of stuff.
Scammer.
And Saul's and so it's evoking two different things, but the things that they're using is like, the New York high-rise experience. Like he's got all these signed basketballs and like wealth and luxury and all that stuff. And then in Better Call Saul, he's like totally scamming people and whatever. It's just the architecture is actually speaking to the things that we're seeing in the Hollywood thing, which is cool.
Which is the lesson, right? I mean,
totally.
Yeah, you couldn't reverse the two roles.
No.
Yeah,
totally.
it just wouldn't work.
Yeah,
wouldn't play out.
if Harvey Specter was in that strip mall trying to sell the clients, they'd be like,
and his $8,000 suit, whatever.
It would be a total disconnect.
Yeah.
And that's the power of architecture, Jackson.
No, it really is.
I like that Statue of Liberty looking down, screaming. You see that on that last picture? It's like... It looks like it.
It's really funny.
And then there's Ferris Bueller.
Okay.
Dude, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is something that could happen and is very... What do you mean?
I'm laughing. I'm agreeing.
Because of my credentials. Like
I'm holding true to your credentials. You're not even holding true to your credentials, but I'm holding true to them. No, it's really good. Like, stop, look, and listen. It's really good. Is that the song he sings? Shall
make me wanna.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, you've got
so what is this evoking?
Colonial revival, steady family, classic family.
This is the bottom left
two
one.
2 parents, 2 kids. It just
so audio listeners, we're looking at Ferris's house versus what's his face's house.
What's his buddy's name? Cameron. Thank you.
Nice,
Cameron lives in this modern structure. He's depressed. He is.
It's just his dad, I believe.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a family.
Mom. Yeah.
His dad loves his car more than he loves his family.
Yeah.
And so you have, the 2 pieces of architecture,
So are you saying people with modern houses are a lot more
depressed? Yes.
Depressed. Okay. That's just your thesis, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is from Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
His dad has this amazing Ferrari that Cameron kicks off the stand. They basically take
borrow his
the car
Ferrari
goes
for
on a
day.
joyride. They borrow the car
The
for the
valet
day.
gives the
And the valet just takes it on this huge joyride. They get back into the car and it has all these miles on it. They're like,
the odometer's like crazy high.
And so his dad loves the car and has looked at all these. He's not going to lose the fact that they've got 400 miles on the car now, and so they go and they put it up on a jack stand. They try to drive it in reverse to see if they can get the odometer to go backwards, and they can't. Then he kicks it.
Cameron
and
gets and kicks the car, and it obviously
comes off the stands and then goes out,
there's the
out the back window.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, this is
Richard, it's such a good movie, dude. It's so good.
The principal is so good, and the help he has, the secretary for him.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She's unbelievable. She's so good.
She goes on to be in a ton of movies. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's really fun, and it's just an interesting ride from start to finish because the whole premise is he's trying to skip a day of school. And that's kind of how it goes. He fakes being sick. All right, here's the Home Alone house.
Bad dormers.
Really?
Terrible dormers.
Explain.
What are dormers?
There's a door, and it's a mirror.
Hey, if it was just me alone.
The dormers is the windows in the roof, okay?
Well, I'll just butt in real
Get in
quick.
there, Richard.
It's the proportion of glass to wood in the face, right? I mean, that's part of the problem.
Well, that's part of the problem. But I mean,
so you're saying there's too much glass?
Not enough.
Not enough.
So those dormers are just too big for that house.
I'm still confused. What part is the dormer?
The dormer's the window on the roof. So it's the whole hat.
Got it.
And the roof and the gable end and all that stuff that surrounds that window.
Oh yeah, if those were smaller, it would be so much better.
And so the hat, if that hat, the pediment at top was half of that or pitched down a lot, that would fix that thing. But I have a rule. It's a Brent Hall rule.
Okay. So it doesn't really count.
So the proportion of glass in the window to the overall face of the dormer should be about 80%.
Okay.
And that one's about 60%. And
Okay, I get what you're saying.
And so
it needs to be a lot less of like the side wood and the top wood.
Yeah, like the casing.
There's
But
all
still, like in comparison to a lot of these McMansions we've been looking at, this is pretty dope.
Yeah,
like
it's not. I mean,
it's not terrible.
I mean, there's been worse.
The shutters are bad, right? Because they don't fully cover the window if they close.
Yeah, they're kind of close. But you know, they're fitted properly in that they're not, you know, hanging down over the brick.
Okay. So like, there's a hope.
But I would think that house is probably built in the
1940s.
80s.
That was close. 40 years off. Is this the actual interior? Do we know?
I know this the interior they show in the movie, but I don't know if it's the actual interior
I
of
bet
the
it
house.
is actually, because there's so many scenes with him going in and out of like, remember when he slides down the stairs and goes out the front door and like other stuff like that. Especially like the guys entering into the house. I bet they used a real house.
The wainscot's too high. See that?
Why?
Look at the back. Look in the back.
I see the wainscot.
Wainscot should be, 32 inches, 28 inches. That
Richard,
one's a
how do you
30,
do it?
36 inches. It's
How are
terrible.
you measuring this?
Look at the doorknob on the back thing. Doorknobs are always at 36 inches.
Always.
By code, they are at 36.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Why is that code? Fire?
I don't
so
know
a
why
kid can
it's
reach
code.
it probably.
Yeah. So.
And so blind people probably know exactly where to go.
And then, of course, this painting, because it's not a house, but this was...
That's not a house?
No, this was meant to be this is the Northwest Frank Lloyd Wright inspired house. They wanted, talk about expressing a value. This was, it meant to evoke this, disaffected intelligence, cold-blooded dominance, so there is this...
It's like you're reading them. I'm seeing that big overhang, like many Frank Lloyd Wright things. There's no way that cantilever would be able to hold weight, right? Especially there are people.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, the way
It's
they've
two pieces of
engineered it
wood.
with those steel brackets going up there, maybe.
Okay.
But it's they basically said, we want a Frank Lloyd Wright house for this thing because we think it evokes this intelligence, this what I was writing down there.
Because he was hot stuff at the time, right?
Yeah,
So he just hit it big right by North by Northwest.
Is.
Well, I mean, if you ask me.
Well, I think his stuff goes along with that definition right there. Pretty good.
Yeah. Cold-blooded, disaffected, expressing visual dominance. His houses are really crazy. Like, they kind of weird me out.
I don't like them.
What do you think, architecture beast? I felt like that. That weirds me out.
I think there's some very intelligent, crazy things he was doing there. If you stand in those spaces, they're really cool spaces, and so
I could see that.
For him, what is that, 1930 or 1920 that he did that?
Did he really?
Yeah, it's cutting edge for that time period, and to have those cantilevered spaces that cantilever out into space, hanging out over that waterfall. It was an engineering marvel. One of the stories is that the post that they used to hold up the concrete until it cured, like on this corner hanging out over that rock, there was these posts that were in there temporarily, and all the workmen were afraid to take them out because they thought the house would fall once they took them out.
That's crazy.
And he himself took over there and knocked them out. Because he was
He'd engineered it.
Bunch of babies. I'll do it.
Stealing concrete. He knew it would hold up.
That is crazy.
Well, my thing is I'm a molding guy, and I mean, if I went there like for an Airbnb, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't like it as a residential home. Like it is a cool spot.
Well, I do think it communicates a lot of those things we were making fun of on the last slide, like cold-blooded, like distance and everything like that. Like it's very cold. It
is cold.
It's not warm and inviting and welcoming like some houses in New Zealand. He knew. I was trying to communicate telepathically to Austin there, our incredible producer. So this is the Shire. Look at this communication versus Frank Lloyd Wright's nonsense.
How do you swing that door?
If we go to the next photo, it actually shows how you swing that door right there.
I'll ask, how do you swing that door?
Is swinging a door an architectural term that I don't understand?
You can't swing you can't have a door a round door swing on one hinge.
I don't know. They seem to be doing it in this photo.
You can't do it, right? You could never hold it up. The thing would be falling down.
No, I hear that. I get what you're saying.
I'm gonna build one.
No, you're not. But
do you like the knob in the middle of it?
Just think that door probably weighs 150, 200, 300
yeah,
pounds.
It's probably more than that.
And,
300
and,
pounds.
and it's on a knuckled hinge, one knuckled hinge.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Well, you can't do it.
Go back to the interior picture. What else is wrong with this?
It's great.
The wainscot. Look at that. It's way too high. It's
but
gone up half the height.
But
I hate that texture on the walls too.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. But if you were doing this wainscot and you did it proper heights because of the circular nature of the thing, I think it would actually look weird. Do you guys disagree?
What do you know?
Nothing. But don't you guys agree? Nothing. Like, don't you think it would look weird if it was like 2/3 of the way up that circle? It would look kind of off.
Be 2/3 of the way down.
Yeah. Whatever.
Anyway, it's just these are fun houses. There's actually a Fine Home Building article on someone who tried to build this house.
Really?
Yeah, the Fine Home Building has a article. It was a back page or something. It might have even been the whole article of someone who built a Hobbit house.
I actually think it's really comfortable. Like I know y'all are probably going to give me some grief for that, but I really like this design. Like I've never seen circles done so consistently and so well through a home. There it is. There's the Hobbit hole. I see his door is way smaller than the one from the movie. So I mean, I'm sure he ran into the same problem.
That's amazing stonework.
So it is a tiny hole.
Oh, that's a giant hinge.
See that hinge? See how big he had to get
that's
it so
a cool
to do
hinge.
that?
Yeah. He had to do that.
Look at all the reinforcement he had to do in that thing to make it work.
But look at the archway.
I think this wood works better than the one in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think part of the thing is communicated with the movie is it's like into the earth, so they've like hollowed out this hole and like made it work. This obviously is not that, but I really like, I don't know, I like the circles how they're incorporated in the movie one because I don't feel like it's ever done well in homes. I feel like we get a lot of half circles, but not a lot of whole circles.
I feel like this house actually evokes how that thing would have been built.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. This is the Amityville Horror House, and that is a charming gambrel roof colonial revival house. Nothing wrong with that. The lattice work, the height of that, railing on the outside. There are so many good things in this house. They make it scary by making it look red and bloody and everything else. When they show the picture to the house, it looks kind of haunted. But I'm just telling you, that is a good looking house.
That's crazy.
Can you find anything wrong with it? Sorry to cut you off, Jackson.
No, you're fine. I just don't like it. I'm so confused why this is a good house.
But if you go to the movie, the screen picture,
the main picture of the cover.
Yeah.
Wait. So what's the plot of Amityville Horror? Have you ever seen it?
It's a haunted house. See what they did? They just
say, get out. Yeah. Okay. I had a problem with the weird fan things. I don't know how to describe them. They're like the half circle, like the fans, like the unfolding fans. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the transom windows up in the gable end?
The transom windows. That was the word. I was on the tip of my tongue.
Fan light windows that are cut in half between the chimney.
Yeah. Why?
Light. You have to get light up into the attic.
Yeah.
So it was.
I just don't like how it's split in half. Is that kind of weird?
Well, get over it.
Okay. Well, can you explain to me why it works, and then maybe I'll enjoy it? Is it because the roof is such?
Well, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I need to make you like it.
I'm not paying for this house. Okay. I'm not buying that.
Let me tell you why you should like it.
Tell me why.
Let's go to the next house.
You know what? I'm in. I'll buy it.
Okay, Family Guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's actually a charming house. The dormers, the proportion of the light to the dormers wrong.
It's a great house. Okay.
It's still you know why it works? Because it's very symmetrical.
It's very symmetrical. The garage is done really well. Right?
It's pushed back.
Set. Yeah. The front of the house is the front of the house. They've got a sunroom that we argued about
looks like
for a while.
1930s or 1940s, house. It's not special. It's not different. It's.
Yeah, but I think in the context of the neighborhood, it's actually really good because none of the neighborhood houses look exactly like it. It's not like there's like 16 of the same house all in the neighborhood.
You also have the same problem on this house.
Okay.
Look at the height of the dormer windows versus the height of the second floor windows.
Okay. Same height.
Something's not working.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, you've got your
like where are you standing?
Yeah, you've got your ceiling that's right over top of those windows, which would be weird upstairs.
Yeah.
But
the only way that would work is if there was like a stairway that was leading. That's where the stairway was, but it doesn't make sense. But yeah, and also I think the funny thing about this house is we were talking about it earlier with the Brady Bunch or Full House, how none of it matches what's going on in the interior of the house, because the interior, there's like that main family room right when you walk inside the house, and
Brady Bunch.
No, of Family Guy.
House?
Of Family Guy. Yeah.
Look at the Art Deco architecture in the back.
You like that?
Yeah, I do.
It's Philadelphia skyline. Not Philadelphia. Where is it? Quagsire, Pennsylvania. No, Quahog, Pennsylvania.
What'd you call me? Yeah, that looks like New York. It's interesting.
Oh, it's Rhode Island, actually, right?
Quahog, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Nice, good memory.
There's the Simpsons.
Objectively worse
Yeah.
than the Family Guy house.
This is like a 70s ugly house.
It's like a production build house.
Look at the sliding windows on the second floor.
But that fits the Homer Simpson lifestyle.
The TV antenna. Does anybody know what a TV antenna? Do people realize we used to buy TV antennas and put them
I
on
didn't
our
know
roof?
y'all bought them. I thought we just ripped them
the
off.
cable company installed them, but
No, this is pre-cable. So
Or the
this
TV
is in the
company.
60s and 70s.
but you put them up in your own house?
You would go onto your roof and install a
That's cool.
antenna on your roof, and then you'd run the line down and put it. These two little prongs would go into your TV.
You have to angle it right too, like a satellite.
Oh my gosh, it was yes. You had to move it around. What in the world?
Whoa,
is
that's
that?
the Simpsons house in real life.
No, it's
Look.
not. No, it's not.
It is. It's the best representation that you got of it.
No, it's not.
I think somebody did build a real
What's your
one, right?
problem with it then? Because that's about
Those
as close
windows
as you're
are
gonna
sliders. Those windows are double hungs.
get. But I mean that it's clear what they were going.
It's more like narrow, like not as. But
But I mean, obviously the garage is overlapping with the thing. They don't have that like back house. So one interesting thing about the windows on this house, they're protruding, right?
Bay windows.
Bay windows. Thank you. But there's nothing supporting the bay windows on the bottom.
That's you have that sometimes. Yeah.
That's interesting.
But usually, like if it's done right, there's like a decorative
Yeah.
Right.
skirt
or
or whatever it's
usually
called.
you're able
something.
to like sit in the bay window. I would feel like if you sat in this bay window, it would just
fall out.
pop right off the house. Mm-hmm. It was the same house. This is the house. That's
It
the
was
house
the
that we were
house?
just looking at.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Look, they did the bay windows and everything. They really went for it.
It's
That is so weird.
It
looks
doesn't look
terrible.
right.
No, it does not look right.
It looks bad. Like it's not even close to good.
It's not even close to matching it.
Yeah, it's close to matching.
No, it's not.
Well, okay, what's the problem? Look, that's really close.
Look at that garage. It's like encroaching on the window. It's like
I
they're
understand
about to
that.
bump into it.
But look, okay.
There's
so-
like another roof in
Yeah,
the back
there's-
of the garage.
Yeah.
How it drops.
yeah, guys, I know. I'm looking at the same thing that you're looking at. But if they're gonna have a 2-car garage, there has to be a real. It's not Cartoon World. They can't. They don't have hammer space.
Well, if that was really the house, they did a bad job because it wasn't. I mean, it's not a hard thing to
Agreed.
replicate. It's like you're building a.
All right, how about you guys go build your own Simpson home and then
And look how thin that door is. The Simpsons door is way thicker.
No, it's not. It's
Yes,
that
it
thin.
is. It's like 4 feet wide.
Oh my gosh.
Whereas Homer's pretty big.
But also, it is weird. Just look at like proportionally. Like they don't have a character in this shot with them, but
Someone should have said on this segment, "Don't." Right?
you could have done it without. You could have just okay. Well,
It's over now.
you could have just okay. So if you look at that door, it is like 4 feet wide, right? If you bring the door over to the there we go.
Whoa, it's way narrow. That's not.
Oh, they've changed from a 2-car garage to a 1-car garage.
that's
in
not
that
the
photo.
same. Yeah.
But I mean, guys, it's really close. We're
And trees aren't purple, okay? Just let's be clear.
that's a U tree. Anyway, so Simpsons home production bill. We don't love it. not great. So they kind of flip flop between this 2-car garage idea and 1-car garage. It's almost like it's drawn every time. So interesting. It's like the house.
I've never even seen that house over there with that shop door.
Yeah, I haven't either. But that's the Flanders house,
like
right?
An RV goes in there.
Yeah.
Or is the Flanders, on the other way? Yeah. Man, what a great show. Matt Groening killed it. Another funny thing about Matt Groening, I think our last photo is Harry Potter. Is it? Did we take it out?
That's Flanders.
No. Well, funny thing about Matt Groening, this is a fun fact for both of you guys. He made the show The Simpsons. He also wrote the show Futurama. Mm-hmm. And in Futurama, it's in like future, 1,000 years New York.
Richard wouldn't like that.
It's really funny. Well, you'll appreciate this. Instead of like doves flying over New York and like being the common bird that you see everywhere in New York, it's actually owls that are everywhere in New York, because scientists have theorized that if the rat population continues to expand at the way that it is in New York, the only way that it will even out is by owls coming and overpopulating the area, because there are just an abundance of rats in New York. And so in every shot of Futurama, if there's a bird in the main town, it's owls, which is a really fascinating
little known fact.
Little nugget right there for you guys. But it's a great show. Both are great shows. But yeah, they have tons of owls in Futurama. Well, yeah, so those are Hollywood plus great architecture. I think some of the big takeaways that I have is like, one, it does a great job of evoking feelings. Mm-hmm. Two, I don't know where to feel about like the Leave It to Beavers or the Desperate Housewives of it all, like the backlots. I kind of think it's kind of a marvel of set design more than anything, but it doesn't communicate good architectural qualities. But it's just interesting. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't think if I hadn't pointed it out, you guys would have ever noticed.
Never would have noticed.
And the only reason I looked at it was because I was doing that talk for the Hollywood one and started looking at it closer and closer. I think it's the glance thing, you know, that you glance at it and go, oh, it's a house. And, you know, there's not, but they're terrible houses. I mean, they're almost like someone worked hard to make them weird.
Well, I feel like they just tried to put so much detail in it that when you look at it, you're like, cool, that house has a lot of detail. Because like if we go to the Breaking Bad house and just in our brains, like the Breaking Bad house is a very simple house. I mean, the Simpsons house is a great example of a very simple house, right? And those houses were so complex. It's like, oh, someone put time into this house. It's like it's a nice house.
I think my takeaway of this thing, is that Richard hasn't watched Princess Bride.
Yeah, you gotta watch
Let's do it. Let's do a watch party next episode.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's all we'll do. We'll talk about the castle architecture. I don't know. We'd all be out of our depths there. If you do have movie suggestions for Richard, you need to get in the comments and give your top 3 for him to watch. Get his rule out of here. He's not following it.
I'll only make an exception for Twilight Zone, but they have to be something that could actually happen.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.